driver trainer for Swift Transportation, and we're going to talk about shifting today. Just to give you a little background, we got a 78,000-pound gross load, so we're going to talk about in realistic terms. A lot of students come on the truck with this, and they're trained to always shift at 1,500 RPM, let it drop down to about 1,100 or 1,200 RPM, and put it into the next highest gear. But when you get a situation like a load like this, that's not realistic. You can't really just shift at a set point. If you're going uphill, you need to wind it out, so you're going to need to know where to go. So what I teach is you can put it in any gear, or the proper gear, at any speed, at any RPM, as long as you know how to do it. So you can come out at any speed, which your RPM is going to be fluctuating, in the range. But all you got to do is a little simple math, and is let it drop or raise 300 to 500 RPM, and you should be able to go in. There's two techniques of shifting. You got double clutching, which is clutch in, clutch out, or you can float. And I'm going to try to hit both techniques here. So we're going to get started. We're going to get up to speed. I'm going to start in first since we are so heavy, and we're going to get up to speed. So here we go. Making sure I'm clear. I'm sorry, I floated that first one. Bringing it up to about 1,700 RPM, down to 1,400 RPM. Clutch out, clutch in. And we're using an Eaton Cooler 9-speed. So it's actually a little bit trickier than if it was a 13 or an 18 speed where you have those half gears, those power gears. And one of the tricks is just being smooth. We have our freight is liquid, so we want it to be, we want to be smooth to take care of our freight. Let's find it out. We're at the 7th now. And get up to, bring these RPM up, so we're climbing up a small hill. Now hitting 15. See, the higher gear you got, the longer it takes to stretch out. We might not even get up to top speed here, but I'm going to try, because we're getting up to the steeper part of the hill. Alright, so we're in 8th gear. And we're rolling. So your speed's basically starting from first, first gear you're going to go up 3 miles an hour. Second gear you're going to go up to 5 miles an hour. Third gear you're going to go up to roughly 12 miles an hour. Fourth gear you'll hit 20 miles an hour. Fifth gear you'll get 25. Sixth gear 35. Seventh gear 45. Eighth gear up until you max out. And the thing that's tricky about this is if you got a 13, like I said, a 13 or 18 speed, you got those climbing gears. You can switch right into low range and not even have to shift. But you can make just as good time on an 8-speed, 8 forward speed, 1 reverse, so that's 9 speed. But you can make just as good a time if you know how to drive, use your RPM properly. So we're going downhill now. I'm going to try to get one more uphill. And I'm going to show you how to downshift at the right RPM to keep you in that power band. Give me a second here. One other thing about going downhill, you always want to exercise speed control. Always have a speed where the engine will hold the weight of the truck, where you're not constantly mashing on the brakes. So we don't want to burn up our brakes and not have them when we need them. Not going to do it. I did is I double clutched up. And I'm only going to downshift a couple of gears. I'm not going to downshift all the way, but when I downshift, I'm going to float them down. And the only difference between double clutching and floating is you're at the right RPM at the right speed, so you don't even need your clutch. The reason you use your clutch is to give you that play. You know, if you're a couple hundred RPM off in either direction, your clutch will get you through it. But if you're floating them, it's just all that's telling you is you're hitting the right spot. If you constantly have your RPM and speed right in the proper gear selection, it's going to go in without the clutch. You don't even need to use the clutch. Actually let her drop a little bit so I can demonstrate this. Alright, so now we're running about 64. I'm going to let the speed in 8th gear drop down to about 57. And at 57 mile an hour, I'm going to go ahead and downshift to 7. Remember I said on the upshift, 45 is where you want to go from 7 to 8. But downshift, you want to go about 57 to 55. That's your high end of that RPM range. So here we go. So I'm out and in. I was at the right thing, no clutch, just out and in. What I did is I kicked it out of gear, brought my RPMs up, put it right back in gear. I'm going to grab another gear in just a second. Let it drop a little bit. What I'm going to do is pull it out of gear, rev it up, and in gear, but it's a fluid motion. You want to keep it in the power band, which is going to be between 12 and 1300 RPM. That's going to be the low end of your higher gear, but it's going to bring you to the high end of your lower gear. So let's do it right now. And now I'm in my power band. But you won't learn this in school. They're just going to teach you to double clutch at 1500 RPM every gear, every time, but they don't take into account you've got, close to 80,000 pounds on your gross weight. I mean, you have to drive the truck differently. Not to mention, if you're driving a 10-speed or a 13 or an 18-speed, the truck itself drives differently. You can be a little more relaxed the more gears you have, but when you're running a 9-speed, 8-forward speed, you've got to constantly keep aware of where you are in your power band. So the object is to get through these mountains as efficiently as possible, and to do that is to always stay in the power. Otherwise, you'll be creeping up the hill with your signal. So hopefully that'll cover it for you a little bit, at least introduce you to it. It takes a lot of practice to do it. But that's basically how you shoot in the mountains with a heavy load.